Hey, salutes to everybody. Much love and respect. We are back. This is the Nation One Love podcast show, and I'm your host, Key Norfolk. We are back with another live stream. Salutes to everybody out there. Make sure y'all hit that like button for us, family. Welcome back. Make sure y'all share the stream for us, family. Support the channel. Salutes to you guys. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button for us right now. Um, Today we're going to be talking with some of my guests today for today's show, and they're going to be dropping some jewels for us. Giving us some keys to building a nation. We're going to be talking farming, business, health, um, things of that nature. You name it. So, without further ado, I'd like to pass the mic over to my guests. Salutes to everybody out there. Much love and respect. And can I get a mic check?
Mic check one. Mic check two.
Yes, ma'am.
All
You are
right.
loud and clear. Salute.
Thank you.
Mic check.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear. And I know you said you want to follow the league. So ma'am, take your time. You got the floor.
All right. I don't see myself on video, but nonetheless, greetings, everybody. I am Chieftainess Tagan Handy, Chief uh, Chief Information Officer of Okeechobee, Chickasaw Nation in Memphis, Tennessee, Arkansas, and the state of Mississippi. I am closely related to Coosa Nation, Council Council 9 member, and a chief mother as well. So I will be presenting questions and answers to you, anything about the Beginning Promise Program. My background is human resource management. I grew up on a farm. I've been doing this all of my life. And with the Coosa Nation and Chickasaw Nation, we've been helping people correct their status and trying to rectify our return back to the motherland way of our ancestral ways. So any questions about that, I'm all in. And I yield. I'm a simple person, very simple.
And
Chief
feel
Eagle Eye?
free to pass the mic. Feel comfortable. As long as we are taking turns with the mic,
Mm.
feel free to interject as you see fit to do so.
Chief Eagle Eye, I yield the floor to you, brother.
Greetings. No CO to all the family. I'm Chief Eagle Eye. I'm one of the principal chiefs of the Okeechobee Chickasaw Nation here in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas. Also, I'm in confederation with the Coosa Nation of North America. I'm one of their principal chiefs. I'm on the Council of Nine and also on their Grand Council. I've been a farmer all my life. I usually deal with training, training of children and teaching them how to move forward in the next steps of what we're going to have to be doing as independent people. So with that being said, we ready. I'm ready for questions. Give them to me. Let's do this. Become independent. I'll yield the mic to you. We'll start explaining the first the beginning farmer program. I guess we'll start with that, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, no problem. Alabama, did you or OG Philly want to interject or say anything
Let,
at this time?
let me thank you for the invitation, but as I said, I'm driving. I'll have to chime in when I can stop. And thank you, Key Norfolk.
You're
Definitely, we
welcome.
need
Thank
to
you,
have
brother.
this interaction with people understanding the program with USDA. And we got two experts here. Big Dog Philly OG, certainly I hope he will share his personal experience as well as you on how to move forward, taking the first steps.
Yes, I'm in agreement with you on that. I think oftentimes people is just not in a familiar space with the uh, information they need or even the motivation they need. And what I can say, um, all of the time and energy that you put forth to me has been helpful and useful. You and all of the brothers and sisters, I appreciate y'all, man. Much love and respect.
Much
OG
love to
Philly,
you,
Gotcha.
yes, sir.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
mic
sis.
check. Oh, go ahead, sir.
I think you got it, OG.
Got you. Much love and respect to everybody on the panel and in the chat. This Big Dog Philly OG. You know, I've been using my platform to encourage people to get into this beginning farm program. You know, also promote unity amongst each other. You know, so I'm looking forward to collabing with everyone and, getting this information out to the people. I render the floor.
Most definitely. Because one thing about it is, we start talking about identifying ourselves. A lot of people have that conversation in the YouTube or conscious space or whatever. But a lot of things that people overlook is um we have to be able to feed ourselves. That's a must when we're living in the expectation at any time that if the grocery store shut down, that we won't be able to eat to sustain ourselves. And that's not who we are as a people anyway. So I give 100% of my energy, like this picture that I got up in the background. That's what's going to empower us when we see what on this picture right here, because that's how I came up with my family, my grandmas. It was always um, gardens and farming going on, but that's a loss since today. So just to be able to be in the presence of people who are so motivated and so willing to help the next person kind of achieve their goals and operate the way they need to, because a lot of these things are hidden from us. So I want to talk about that too. So I want to yield the mic, and let the experts take over and do their thing. Y'all feel at home, salutes. Take the floor, you got it.
Absolutely. This beginning farmer program is really a unique program. It was created with minorities in mind, being the melanated people, female, to kind of like the affirmative action of the agriculture realm. But it's not communicated, it's not marketed to us or anything like that. So it is a little known fact. And when we do go to the different offices, the farm assistance services offices, and inquire about the program, if we don't know the exact words to say, they tell us we don't know what you're talking about. We don't have those type of programs. So my goal and intention is to streamline the process, to give you a blueprint in your hand that you can become familiar with the right words to say, the beginnings farmers program and and beginning ranchers program if you want to deal with the animals or whatever. So it's important that you say these things, and you must have your farm number. First and foremost, if you know some friends with some land and not using it, try to enter a lease with them, and that would solidify you working on a farm. To get the grant, get the lease in writing, and go to your farm service agent and apply for a farm number. Say, I'm located at XYZ. Make sure you understand how the land is rated, because they also try to deter you from that, saying that you're not in a farming designated area. And we know that most of these areas are designated through different zones. So check your zone on the local level first, so you're equipped with that knowledge before you go to the office. And be confident when you do step in, because their job is to shut you down and to sway you and make you look crazy like you don't know what you're talking about. But we are here to empower you every step of the way. And there's also some miscommunication going on when you get into these offices. And when you do encounter that miscommunication, I hope that you can have a recording of what's going on or immediately step outside and have a number to call to rectify that situation immediately. So we do have some partnerships with members of the USDA, the National Conservation Resource Services, and the soil conservation area and different areas throughout USDA to assist us along the way because it's time out for the game. And as you stated, it's important for us to be able to feed ourselves, to house ourselves, and to provide for ourselves. We need our own communities. Like they talk about the Black Wall Street. That's nothing new to us. We've been doing for self for a long time. But somewhere down the road, we was discombobulated and jerked out of our land and we know how and why, forced off, killed off, or whatever, however, stolen, so many different things that occurred to get us back into the rural areas and away from, or back into the cities away from the rural areas so we can become dependent on these merchants, the stores, to take care of us. Me, myself, I grew up on a farm. The only time we went to the store was for flour and sugar. Everything else, we maintain ourselves, even sewing our own clothes and different things like that. So I'm about that life. And I've spent the last 20 years or so trying to get back to that life entirely. And then throughout the process, I've become an advocate to make sure that everything's fall in line so that we can have our own. And it's important to me that we think on terms of a melanated food network where we're growing our foods all across the Americas, not just North America, but South America as well. We make the connections and we're bartering and trading and doing for self. That's my ultimate goal. And I yield.
To expand on that a little bit, like the sis was saying, when she's saying that we have to know the language, if notice that they've changed the language in the same way they changed our name. And they changed the language so that we can't qualify for the certain programs that they have. Because if you're coming in with the wrong language, then they already know how to disqualify you. And it's really important that, like how we went from being minorities, went from being colored, went from being black, and now they're saying that we're the underserved. And that will be the language that we would use now to identify ourselves on the application for the USDA to receive the different benefits that they have for free. Now, we're mentioning this beginning farmers program because a lot of people are not just taking advantage of it because we got discouraged back in the day because most of us went and took loans out on our farms and some of us lost our farms. And that is not part of the program. That's not a beginning farmers program. That's actually the program for EQIP, where it's an equipment loan, where you go and buy your equipment, then you go work the land, and you start paying off your loan. That's what EQIP is. So they'll tell you about EQIP when you go in there to find out about their beginning farmer program. They'll also tell you about EQIP, but you're not going to be eligible for EQIP after you prove to them that you can actually produce something. So as beginning farmers, which I started being a farmer again, because I was a farmer when I was living in California. I dug up my whole backyard when I was in California and had that for fruits and vegetables. And I planted nothing but fruit trees in my yard. So I didn't have much grass. I used it for food. Same way most Mexicans are doing. If you ever lived in California, that's what Mexicans do. When they dig up the front yard and the backyard, and they'll grow food. Because they understand that once you cut off the grocery stores, you got to still be able to eat. You still got a family you got to be able to feed. You don't want your little boys and little girls and your grandchildren to be looking at you like, granddaddy, grandmama, why we ain't got no food just because of, the stores are cut off. We don't have no food. And then not only that, we got to learn how to eat off the land as far as what is actually out there. I loaded up the plant identifier on my phone, which I would recommend everybody to do. have the plant identifier. One of those apps, load onto your phone. When you get around certain plants, take a picture of it and let it tell you what that plant can do for you. And let it tell you what kind of plant it is. Because you got a lot of food out here that you don't know about. And it's right on your doorstep. You got a lot of herbs out here that you don't know about. That's right on the side of the road that's healing cancer and diabetes and you name it, arthritis and blindness. But we pass by this stuff on the side of the road because we don't know what it is. If we
That's
knew what
correct.
it was, we would start jumping out and start picking it and store it for later for what we need it for. And what I see the most on the side of the road is yellow dock. The herb yellow dock is everywhere on the side of the roads. And it's one of the most important herbs. It's just as important as the blue vervain. That's another important herb that our great Dr. Sadie used to use. And I'm giving you a little Dr. Sadie knowledge. Say that again, my brother.
I got a question for you. When you done, if you don't mind.
Okay, go ahead. You can ask your question.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what was like your first, you know, thing that you chose to plant? You know, what got you, when you can say you was seriously into farming? What was it?
Well, when I moved on the land that my family had in Arkansas, we've been here since the 1800s. Well, that's as far as I found out as right now. And the first thing that my granddaddy used to produce watermelons and corn. So that's what I chose when I first moved out here. I chose watermelons and cantaloupes. And as I moved on, I chose to do a little bit more because farming is a business. So as of right now, I'm in trying to get in the business mind of farming. So I'm trying to, instead of trying to squeeze a whole bunch of watermelons on a little part of the land, I said, well, let me find out what I could grow a lot of on this little part of the land. And I only got 5 acres in this one area. So I had to figure it out if it's going to be tomatoes or squash or zucchini. And that was my goal. And I found a restaurant that wants to, that's what they serve. Squash and zucchini all day long. They serve 120 pounds of squash and zucchini a week. So once I found this store, hey, that's the contract I want. I want to be able to sell 120 pounds of squash and zucchini to this restaurant. It's called Flying Fish in Memphis. And keep that contract going because it's not only just healthy for me, it's healthy for them. Hey, and then it's so plentiful the way squash and zucchini grow. You'll have plenty for yourself.
Hey, and where you located over there in Arkansas, man? I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Okay, I'm near West Memphis. I'm near West Memphis.
Oh yeah, I'm from Holly Grove. My mom people from Holly Grove over there.
Okay, I'm right on the on the outskirts, so I'm in the country. If you know where Edmiston is, I'm out here in the country. So,
you know what attracted me to farming initially was fish, to be honest. And so I've been experimenting with building a fish farm until I kind of master how to do it. I could just do it anywhere. You know what I mean? So, but once I, really start to live it around other farms and start seeing how they operate, and then a lot of information. Me and OG Philly talk about a lot of things, and we've been talking about this for a long time. And so I just now started to get chickens and really see how green my thumb is, with my gardening and stuff like that. But You know, it's definitely something that's why I asked you what you choose first, because that's a farmer's question. Because you obviously, like you said, you're gonna choose something that's cash. You know, what's your cash crop? So, you know, my initial pull through with the farming was actually fish. So
Now,
appreciate that, man.
depending on where you at, I would be the one to make that
Okay,
type
that's
of
awesome.
decision, depending on where you live.
But first and
So,
foremost, I
you know,
think the most important thing,
go ahead, sis.
okay, I was saying the most important thing is to make sure your soil is tested because it may look good and appear to be healthy and you're not able to produce. So that's the first and foremost thing. You may want to grow bananas. And you can grow bananas in Arkansas and Tennessee. I found that out recently. But you want to get the soil tested and make sure that it's not diseased or sick. And if it is sick or not lacking nutrients, you want to build that soil up so that you can have the best crop possible. That would be the first thing you would do before you try to grow um, whatever it is of your choice. Would you
Yes,
discuss
ma'am.
that, Eli?
Yes, now I would
Thank
agree 100% on testing your soil because you don't want to have contaminated soil. You don't know who was there. If you're just going to buy your land, you don't know what was there before you got there. So make sure you test the soil. Make sure they don't have no chemicals up under there that can hurt you or be harmful for your food.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's why I chose
you.
watermelons and cantaloupes at that time because sandy ground it grows real good in sandy ground.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't my choice because I needed more land to grow this on. Because if I'm trying to make some
Right,
money on trying to grow some watermelons, now I need 60 acres of land.
right.
Can't do this and make no money without having 30 to 60 acres of land. So the farmers, I'm studying them to see, and I'm asking questions. Like right now, I'm driving for a farmer just to learn some more about the business. So
Mm-hmm.
we delivering
Right.
soybeans and corn and soybeans and soybeans and corn and what else they doing? Well, right now that's the only thing we harvest, just soybeans and corn. And they pulling it out of field, man,
Yeah.
500 acres at a time. 1,000. We just came out of a field of soybeans that was 1,000 acres. Now you know that soybean is like a government commodity where
It is.
they trying to get people to grow them soybeans so they can poison you some more because you know that soybeans ain't good for none of us, right? But it's in every product.
Right.
So their business is to monopolize us off a cheap product. So they'll go make everything out of soybeans and then sell it to us as what they say, impossible meat. and they act like
Facts.
it's healthy. And so that's why we gotta start farming on our own. To become independent on our own. Like you said earlier, my brother, that's what's going to empower us. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people think that reparations is going to empower us. And a lot of
No.
people think that other
Right.
avenues, going political is going to empower us. But I guarantee y'all, if we control the food industry, we will have power over everybody.
Absolutely.
Because
Facts.
the
You know
first
how?
thing you
Because
want
uh, a lot of
is
people
food.
chasing a dollar, but we see how inflation done rose the price on all the fake food. That's so if we chasing a dollar, what people saying they spending all their money on food because of inflation. You see what I'm saying? Not only will we cut that market off, not only will we not be able to be threatened by them being shut down, not only will we be eating healthier, but now we're the suppliers of something. Now, you see what I'm saying? Something that's
Absolutely.
of substance.
Mm-hmm. And see, and that leads to the economic reciprocity. You're creating money within the community, you're creating jobs, you're creating housing, and that money stays in the community. So you're empowering your own community. It's not just about getting the big local stores to do this and do that. We're more concerned about the community-based level and then reaching out to other communities so that we can be self-sustaining, period, without any government intervention. And that's self-sufficiency in my eyes, because the USDA have all the programs, all the means, all the financing to ensure you to get up to par and on your feet with the beginning farming program. I think the disadvantaged program, the socially disadvantaged and the underserved are the terms that they're using, along with the BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color. So the names are constantly changing as to who we are. You know, I'm American Indian, and most melanated person on this planet is indigenous, period. So um, the socially disadvantaged people, they have so many programs available for that, but we're not the ones taking advantage of it. The white females are taking advantage of it. The Asians are taking advantage of it. Hispanics are taking advantage of it. Everyone except us. So we need to tap into this resource and take advantage of it. There's farming opportunities, training and outreach. It's called FOTO, F-O-T-O. And these are the programs where they give you the training and outreach and everything else that you need. The 2501 program, I don't know if you heard about that, but it's real. And it's increasing funding every year. 60 million in 23, and I don't know what it's going to be, what it was for this year, but it increases funding about 17 to 20 million dollars each year. So that's an opportunity, for us to take advantage of that. And the target people should be so-called African Americans and American Indians, along with all the other classified socially disadvantaged people. Anybody with hue, basically, or melanin, should benefit from this program. But it is primarily targeted to a community-based and nonprofit organization, the colleges and agricultural programs within these colleges and schools and institutions like that. But as a community-based and nonprofit organization, which is where we should be geared to go, and CUSA is set up like that, CUSA Nation, to already do these things as a nonprofit. We have a nonprofit and other things that we're doing within CUSA Nation. And the idea of CUSA Nation is to be um, an umbrella for all American Indians that wants to return a right to offer them a right of return to their ancestral ways. We During the pandemic, we started a school on our own funding without any government assistance. This year, we was able to get a grant. I think that we've been doing a lot of one-on-one communication, government to government. And that's where the impact should be made. We called on a lot of these entities, USDA, with these grants before they were just, if you don't recall, a couple of years ago, prior to 2022, it was for federally recognized Indians only. We had a call with the USDA and several entities of the USDA from state to state and on the national level to let them know we are American Indians by blood, not by federal recognition. And if you're going to extend the program to the federal recognized people, we need to be included on that. So the next year, we saw the language change to include federally recognized and non-federally recognized. And you see that language today in a lot of these grant applications. And that was attributed to our effort, CUSA Nation, because you have to take these things head on and go to the people that can make the changes that you need to see in your community and stand strong and don't fall weak. Let them know what it is that you need, and we need to, be better communicators of that, and stop selling for uh, the crumbs. We need to be able to appeal to our own interests. A lot of people vote. I don't vote, but for those that do, you need to hold these people accountable. But I do pay taxes, so these are my tax dollars at work. So why can't my community and my family benefit from the tax dollars that we're putting back into the community and paying these people salaries? And that's my goal, to make sure that everyone knows about these programs. Each one reach one, teach one. This is where we got to go back to make sure that no one is left behind. And I yield.
Clan Mother, as I chime in for a moment, because I want to question both you and Eagle Eye with a specific request for whoever is listening in the audience. But just FYI, it's like a public service announcement. People who are being deceived by what they don't comprehend as the quote unquote black farmers claim that would
Mhm.
start originally back in 1965. I forgot when the actual lawsuit filed. It may have been under Bush HW or under the Clinton administration. But the pending lawsuit, and let me give these bullet points right quick, Key Norfolk. The $4.5 billion that was specific to targeting quote unquote black farmers has been put on hold and is in escrow because then the quote unquote white farmers, who are never really stated publicly, reported as such, but if you notice it's starting to trickle out, they filed a reverse discrimination lawsuit claiming that money specifically targeting black farmers was racist. That's first. So that $4.5 billion is sitting aside, drawing interest in one of these big banks. There is a continuous appeal on that. However, in the wake of that, the current administration, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., directed the Department of Agriculture's Secretary, Tom Vilsack, with an executive order and a line item of $2 billion that became distributed and dispersed, which is already out, so don't go calling up the number with a lotto mentality, as race neutral, which then included women-operated farms, minorities, and those imposters referred to as Native Americans on the reservation. That $2 billion was dispersed between 10,000 to 500,000, and even our brother here on the line may have received his, but it depended upon the level of the claim that you put in. Now, one final point, and I'd like both of you to address this. That lawsuit is still pending an appeal. For most of the people who are ignorant and do not understand the significance of what this beginning farmer and rancher program can offer you, even if you're in an urban ghetto as an urban Indian, putting pots on your balcony, or if you have a small portion of a backyard and you're doing a garden, could each of you explain how this beginning farmer program can reach the average American known as the Negro? And I yield.
Okay. These programs are available in every state. I think that
Mhm.
it would behoove you not to inquire about the availability of these programs, which is what I mentioned earlier about creating a map to guide you where to go to your farm service agency and how to inquire about them. If you know, like I say, if you know somebody with land, um, offer them to lease it to you or let you work on it to be productive. You know, and I know a lot of people that have land that's not doing anything with it. You know, try to negotiate a lease and take that lease to your farm service agency and say, look, um, and understand what your zoning rights are in your area as well. I have this land available. I have so many acres, XYZ street, XYZ town, and I want to get a farm. It doesn't take 30 days to get a farm number. You can get a farm number in a matter of minutes. It should be same day nonetheless. Once you get that farm number, you are considered a farmer. And your farm service agency should inform you of all the different programs that are available for beginning farmers, but they don't and they won't. You have to inquire. So that's why we want to equip you with the phrases like socially disadvantaged and underserved farming program so that they'll know, okay, well, maybe they're interested in the Beginnings Farmers Program, but you need to mention all of these things for the socially disadvantaged because they're going to skirt around it and try to get you to get a loan, qualify for a loan, and so many different things that you don't need. They have all of these fundings available to assist you with getting your land zoned correctly or checking the zoning for your property, testing the soil, helping you obtain the animals, getting the greenhouse, everything you need to farm. It starts with the beginning farming program and your FSA office getting you set up with the right people. They have the coordinators that should be doing their job to inform you and educate you on what's available and what's not available. So it is available in each and every state within the US. So there's no reason for you to not think that you don't qualify. As I stated, it's geared toward socially disadvantaged, which includes African Americans, American Indians, Hispanic, Alaskans American, um, Philippines, and everybody else that's here in the United States to take advantage of this program. So we're here to guide you and to direct you on that right path to attain the information that you need to move forward. So um, within the next couple of weeks, we are going to be continuing with the workshop as we started last week. And I've started on the blueprint on how to attain the farm number. That's the first thing. The second step would be to getting information about the beginning farmers program. So as you complete each milestone, you have a next step and a next step. And if you encounter hiccups or misinformation, we need to set up committees that's going to be right there. You can call immediately and they're going to work on your behalf and say, a person came into your office and they was misinformed about this, this, and that. We're sending them right back in there. So please assist them the right way. If they don't, then you go over their head. You talk to their managers because we cannot allow people to be misinformed in this day and age. It's too crucial. You know, they did that to our parents and grandparents and back on and so forth. So we cannot tolerate that anymore. So if you're interested, inquire and we'll make the information available for you to have in your hand. All you need is a simple email or a phone number and we can text you the documents that you need, period.
I had a question. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean to
No,
cut
go
you
for it.
off. I thought it was finished. So one of the most frequent questions I remember is what is a resource or something that's helpful for those people who don't own any land to do the farming? What would that program be called exactly?
You know, if you have enough land to park your car, that's enough land to grow something. You have a backyard, that's enough land to grow something. If you have a patio, vertical farming, there's so many different ways to farm today that it's just not restricted to owning mass amount of land. So you just have to be willing to start. You know, that's it. You know, you can
To
go to
elaborate on that a little bit,
go for
let
it.
me elaborate
yeah.
on that just a little bit before you go on. When she said it's millions of ways to farm, right? So for people that have garages, if you have an extra storage room, like I've even used under my stairs, you can make you a greenhouse. You have an indoor greenhouse where you're growing your food. Because as long as you're producing something, now you're qualifying for that program. So you don't need it, like she said, a lot of space. You just need to have the effort of doing. So, you know, you ain't got to have 100 acres to become a farmer. Because you can have a hydro system and grow tomatoes. And you believe me, in a garage area, which is like a 20 by 20 or something like that, you can grow, man, thousands of tomatoes in there. And you can do it all year round with those lights. And you'll be able to pay your bills. And you produce the food at the same time.
I was muted. Man. So yeah, it's 2 acres on this land right here, but I got other things that I do on it. So what I've been doing is I've been like you said, the indoor greenhouse type thing. I just been being creative and experimenting myself so I can kind of understand these processes because I know I use makeshift stuff to kind of experiment. So now when I'm spending my money, I can really understand the value of what I'm doing. See what I'm saying? Because it's a learning process the whole time. Even like with the chickens, I end up losing 5 with the first batch of 20 because it was a learning process. See what I'm saying? So I definitely feel what
But
you're
you know
saying.
what, Key Norfolk? This is a perfect example, and I'm gonna drop this lug, and our USDA friend is gonna be popping in a couple of minutes, Eagle Eye and Chief Handy. Um,
Right on.
the high tunnel and how this nomenclature, the language. Now, most people, and I always say, every time I say it, it just boggles my mind why they decided to call it a high tunnel. But just explain to him on how this works as a functioning greenhouse or an enclosure. And this is part of the beginning farmer program, Key Norfolk. But if you and Chief Handy would kind of refer to why the high tunnel is something people need to understand and using the correct language in interacting with the USDA.
Yes, sir. And 1 second, this person, iPhone, salute to you and welcome. I'm not sure who you are because it don't have a name listed.
That's
Could
him.
I get you to
That's our
just go?
USDA Connect, Key Norfolk, that you heard the other night on the
Okay,
call.
okay, welcome to
Because
the
he just texted
platform.
me saying he's waiting for the
Welcome to
host.
the platform. Salute. That's him. I just let him up on the panel. Salutes. And yeah, you got it, Alabama, until he feel like interjecting. Salutes.
Well, that's a perfect segue because I wanted Chief Handy and Chief Eagle Eye to discuss how the high tunnel is an example of when people from the public don't know how to communicate the way that the USDA is discussing these things, and how this particular project is like attached to the beginning farmer process. But y'all got it.
Well, number one, Alabama, the high tunnel, the reasoning for the high tunnel would have to be the first thing. And if everybody know they got the chemtrails in your neighborhood, that's the number one reason why you gotta have a high tunnel. Because when you go outside in the morning and you see sap that is not from a tree on your car, and your car paint is fading, that same stuff is falling on your food. So you need to have a high tunnel or some type of greenhouse to store your food in, most definitely. And the high tunnel is like one of the first things they give you from the beginning farmer program. Is that, you know, when you apply for beginning farmers first, and then you go fill out the application to get a high tunnel. And then you also go fill out the application to get a well so that you'll be able to water your plants. But yeah, the high tunnel is one of the most significant things that we need right now. And to elaborate on the community aspect of it, is that we need to understand that we can use this to begin all of our new communities. And not just in one area, all over the United States, we could be all using this program. Now, if most of y'all would have known what was going on before they filed the lawsuit, in which they're refiling to get more money from the USDA, right? Because they know they gave most of that money to the white farmers still when they counter sued the lawsuit that we had. They know that they gave them some more money because they didn't give me enough money to operate my farm. So I know that they gave this money to somebody else, but I'm appealing that part because of the fact that I know they did not give me enough money to run my farm. Okay? Now, when you have a family, it's 4 or 5 people in your family. You got kids and the children are getting older, right? Say if you do got 2 acres. Okay, you want to be able to put them on your 2 acres if you want to, so that you can relieve them from having a mortgage, from having to pay rent. All they had to do is become a beginning farmer on your land. So you can either give them a farm number, or you can have them work for you on your land, and then have USDA come and build them a house on your land. So this is part of starting your community, getting the USDA to start building you some houses because you need houses for your workers. That's the language. I need housing for my workers, okay? Because I don't know if y'all see South Africans. I'm sitting up here working with 3 South Africans right now, though none of them look like us. They all got pale skin. And they're here on that exchange program where they're coming from Africa to work the farm, and either they can stay or they can just take all their money back home. Most of them decide to go back home after the season, but some of them from Mexico, the ones that are here from Mexico, they don't want to leave this area. So the farmer here is going to build them a house, and still pay them $15 an hour to live in that house. The USDA pays for it. So nothing's coming out of his pocket ever. That's what they're doing. And we can build our community the same way, and make them pay for your family come and live on your property to start growing and start a business. And I think all of us should be interested in that as I use the mic.
Absolutely, brother. Yeah,
Before you comment on that, Chief Handy, because I know he's traveling, he may not take very long. Sherman, if you could introduce yourself and just reiterate what we're trying to share with the audience on the importance of understanding the USDA and what the Department of Agriculture offers to our communities. And thank you for participating.
You're welcome. Greetings, everyone. Um, my name is Sherman Reed. Just want a quick little bio about myself. I'm originally from Greensboro, North Carolina, but now reside in Eau Claire, Michigan, which is southwest of Cornell State, Michigan, about 30 minutes north of South Bend. I currently work for USDA, but my agency is the Natural Resources Conservation Service. So I was listening in, you all was discussing the seasonal high tunnels and the Beginners Farm program. Now, the key thing is working with us, period, is the proper language. And if you all are interested, if with us, you have to be doing something. Well, it's preferred that you already doing something with the property. Meaning that because we look at your natural resources as it relates to soil, water, air, plants, and animals, and there's some other issues as well. But if you're looking to do a season high tunnel, my people will want to know, if you are gardening, what do you want to extend? It's to extend the growing season of a product, whether it be tomatoes or whatever, peppers, etc. I mentioned as far as the irrigation on it. We have a list of conservation practices, and well, different irrigation systems are a part of it. The key thing to get that type of money, you have to have a record of 2 years of irrigating, even if it's with a water hose, and you have written some type of records or can say that you have done something, but to improve your system from a water hose to a drip system. So it's always, the thing is constantly improving. We offer technical assistance free, but we have programs for financial assistance, which are programs that we will reimburse you if you are approved for funding. I heard about the housing. That, with my knowledge, comes under rural development, which is another different agency under USDA. They have different programs for housing and for businesses. And if you're looking to, far as have a farm and have employees, most likely most farmers where I'm from, they come from Mexico, they come from Haiti, but most of them from Mexico. It's the H-2A program, which they do spend money to, you bring them in, and you take care of those particular individuals. So I'm here strictly as a resource. Not sure. It seems like are you all with individuals that's currently farming? Because when you mentioned the Beginning Farmers Program, my language with that is that, or our definition would be someone who has not farmed 10 consecutive years. And usually you file a Schedule F as far as your taxes. And whether you white, black, whatever. But as far as being underserved or historically underserved or social disadvantaged, all of you all, as long as you a minority of color, woman or man, not no Caucasian woman, but strictly people of color, male and female, then along with the Beginning Farmers, there's a extra incentive for that. And each state has to or must have, I think, 5% of their funding that they get for those individuals. So there are different fund codes. But I'm going to stop right here. Anything I said that was confusing, or if anyone have any questions, please ask.
No, Brother Sherman, you're succinct in what you're saying. We were on a call with you the other night, last
Okay.
Wednesday. So
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
mhm.
Okay.
I'm Chief Taya
Okay,
here in
great.
Memphis, and Chief Eagle I work close together. We've been working on so many projects within the past 15 years. Kind of like we're a package deal now.
Oh,
So
yes,
yeah.
ma'am. Okay, great, great, great.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Okay.
I just want to say about the hoop house. My response is going to be that the program in place, the equipment grant program, as you stated, Sherman, they want to strengthen the quality and expand the scope of what you're trying to do. So,
Yeah.
as you stated, improvement. So,
Right.
that's the purpose of the hoop house. And I yield as well.
Yeah,
Now,
this is
Key Norfolk, I think, because if you're streaming with an audience, I don't know if you still want to do Q&A. Sherman may not be available for very long, Key Norfolk. I just wanted you to know that. But go ahead, Big Dog.
Neither will I. But anyway, I think I've been an hour. I'm at my hour, top of my hour. So, but I can stick around for about 15 more minutes, maybe. So are there any other questions or comments or anything we need to elaborate on within that time frame?
Oh yeah. We got OG Philly. I think he was coming in with a statement or question, and then T Riggers after OG Philly. If you have a question, feel free to take the floor after OG Philly.
yeah. I'm gonna be brief because I know their time is limited. Uh, like I'm a city slicker. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm new to this beginning farming program, which I'm now in Georgia, and I have land. But I'm new to it. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to building with all of y'all and learning and walking through this process, and also walking others through this process of the beginning farmers program or the other programs that y'all talked about. So I'm gonna render the mic with that.
Right. Brother, I would suggest that you go to the USDA website and look at the beginning farmers and ranchers program.
I
So,
already did. I have my farm ID number and everything. I already have that. I'm
okay,
like you said, the next step after that. I'm working
did you
on.
familiarize yourself with the rural development program and the EQIP and the different other entities that fall under the USDA? There's a plethora of programs that fall under the USDA's umbrella. So, and if you can get a feel for what they do, and I think that if you have a coordinator working with you, they should be able to point you in the right direction for you to attain any service that you need as a beginning farmer. Would you agree with that, Sherman?
Yes, ma'am. You are you are correct. And also with that, if you all are in the areas with the 1890s or HBCUs, you know, extension
Yes.
services, and
Um,
those
yeah,
and those
absolutely.
and those other folks, there's great information that they can offer too, as far as workshops and so forth for um, people with land. Also, Cornell University, matter of fact, I believe as of right now, they have online courses, and I believe it starts the 25th of this week for those. I think one of the titles is actually for people who buy land, has bought land, what to do with it. I was thinking about enrolling in it just to enroll in it. But Cornell University of New York, they offer nice. You have to, of course, pay for their programs, but it's not that expensive. But the knowledge that you can get from them could be very beneficial for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, my brother T. Ripples, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I had
T. Rivers.
salutes. Yeah,
Okay.
salute to everyone, and thank you, everyone for being here and sharing your time and knowledge. I'm also trying to get into this field here, and I think Chief I said something that I wanted to ask: how much would it be for someone to have 65 acres of land, roughly?
About
Can you
$5,000
clarify?
an acre, depending on where you are. Because
Hmm.
in the down south where I'm at, most of the land is about $5,000 an acre. So it depends on where you are.
Okay, and this might be a silly question. Okay, so how can we bypass, like FDA has like fruits and foods that are banned? Like, how would we be able to pass by that? Because obviously these seeds and foods or fruits or herbs aren't harmful. They're actually very therapeutic for everyone. How would we be able to bypass some of those laws?
That's when our
Sherman?
tribes come in,
Mm.
I think. But go ahead, Sherman. You can answer it first, and then maybe I could elaborate just a little bit on it. Because I know that we have our own jurisdiction. We can bypass a lot. But go ahead, Sherman. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I think, well, I believe with my limited knowledge on that subject, but brother, I believe you're right. Anything involved with the government selling, so forth, you have to come under their guidelines. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and like I say, if you're doing your own thing, own nation, then you develop your own. But as long as you're dealing with the USA government, yeah, there are just rules and regulations that you will have to abide by, especially uh, using their dealing with their funding.
Mm. Hmm.
I would
And
have to agree with my brother Sherman 100% that if we're using them, then we gotta go by. But the guidelines for them, it's not very hard.
Right,
It's not like you gotta do a lot to be able to qualify for this. So it's not gonna hurt you any.
right, yes, sir.
Believe me,
Right,
it's not gonna hurt you any to qualify for the programs because they are free. But all you have to do is follow the guidelines. So they'll give you a book. I'm sure Sherman. That's the department that Sherman works in, the NCRS. They're going to give you a book and show you the guidelines on how to do it. But it depends on where you at because I need a Sherman where I'm at. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now because of the fact that I've been in the program now for 2 years, right? 2.5 years, maybe three, going on three, right?
yes, sir.
The NCRS guy not one time told me he helped me develop my program, or
Wow,
help me develop my food, or help me make sure that my land is right, or even come out and check my water from the well. They've done nothing. But this is a lesson for everybody. I'm already
Right.
got him set up for a discrimination lawsuit
mm,
because he's not giving me the information. So
Mhm.
if all of us, everybody that comes on this call, everybody that we reach out to, if everybody was registered, we all would have enough money to go buy some land because
right,
we already would have filed in the lawsuit with the black farmers that just received some money. So all of us would have got money at the same time. And I did receive some. They gave me 16 for my farm. That's not
yes, sir.
nothing to run a farm. That
Right.
wasn't even enough to feed my horses,
Mm,
you know.
mm,
But it was them admitting now that they're in the wrong. That's what you need when you file your lawsuit, for them to admit that they did wrong. And then once you get them to admit, now you get them to have to stick to what they have to give you because they did you wrong.
And
So all of us need to go fight.
and may I interject here too, is that if you all continue to watch the weather, and the natural disasters not only worldwide, but what's happening here in the US. Also the grain prices, the commodity prices, corn, soybeans, wheat, they have fallen. And there's no way that these big farmers are going to be able to make it unless they were excellent managers. Because if with corn below $4, between $3 and $4, they have to be close to an average of 200 bushels to an acre just to break even. That's just to break even. So reason why I say that is that I foresee a lot of land and equipment coming up for sale in the near future all across America.
Right.
And we as a people, it's our time. We just have to be ready and not be like those who were in Zimbabwe when they took the land from the white farmers, didn't know what to do with it. And now the white farmers
Right.
have it again. You definitely don't want to be in that situation.
Right.
So there's too much technology out here for us as a people not to know what's going on. As a good brother of mine says, we have to put the ag back in our culture. We were tricked, meaning after grandparents, they saw grandparents working hard. Some still see parents working hard. But the trick is, my dad always told us, God don't make no more land. They don't make no more land. So land is your independence, those who have land. So you get it? You know what to do with it?
I lost audio. Okay.
Go ahead, ma'am. Oh, but
No,
anyway,
I couldn't understand. I lost
Yeah.
audio. Can you
Oh,
repeat the
yes,
last-
ma'am. So I'm just going to end it like that. But just keep your eyes open, because there's no way. Me as a small farmer, farming 55 acres, there's some things that I know that I can do that those big farmers can't. I'm not trying to raise 5,000 acres and spending $500,000 on equipment that I only use 2 or 3 times or 2 or 3 weeks out of the year, and the rest of the year it sits. No, have to be wise, look at different products. And also keep in mind too, family, what if you're looking to sell a product, as I've talked to learn from the Caucasian who's successful at it, they don't contract nothing, they don't grow nothing unless it's already sold. That they have
That's
a contract on. Period.
That's right.
If you're gonna grow watermelons, well, you already have that contract, because everyone else grows watermelons, but you want to make sure the ones that you grow, once it's ready to be picked, it's sold before it's sold before you even picked it. So we have to think like that. We have to, as Brother John and mentioned in the conversation earlier with the brothers, we've been conditioned to think a certain way, and I myself is trying to uncondition myself in that Caucasian way of thinking. We are the original people. It's our ancestors that built it. It's in everyone's DNA. That's if you want it. You have to dig in there and find that passion and link to your ancestors' heritage and bring that forth. I'm going to end right there. Thank you.
That was well said, Sherman, and I really do appreciate your time and wisdom that you're bringing here. Definitely in the future, I what I'm manifesting in my mind and what I want to accomplish is something that's never been seen before.
Yes, sir.
Something that will benefit not only us foremost, but for everyone. And when I think like that, the sky is beyond the limit. And I've got more questions, but I'll fall back there. Thank you so much, Sherman, for saying that.
Sure. If you don't mind, I do have to get off the phone. If there's any last questions for me before I get off the phone.
Let me say, Sherman, again, thank you for a few nights ago and to give us some time of your busy schedule today. As I've said, I want the audience to hear, we're not going to bum rush you. You're the secret sauce. But imparting for you, and stay safe on the road. And
Thank
Chief
you.
Handy that might be leaving, I'm going to say the two mission goals of Kusa Nation that I support is getting your family story correct. Get your tree, pun intended, into the ground and find the X that marks the spot. They used to put it in the movies and them treasure maps for the pirates and all this type of stuff. When you go through your family story, you're going to find an ancestor displaced somewhere in the contiguous 48. The other thing is as we're sharing today, they will help you reacquire land, if not put words in their mouth, and my good Queen Mother can correct my errors, and provide the resources and support a network system, if you will. Those are the two mission goals of Kusa Nation I support 100%. And I yield to my elder.
Absolutely. You are correct. And I'm not your elder, you're my elder. But I just had to go there. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. It's important for us to maintain our what is the word I'm looking for? Our Aboriginal titles. We cannot take that lightly by their calling us everything other than American Indian and Aboriginal. That disconnect us from the land. And we were there before, brother, once upon a time. We just got to find our way back to our land, just as Sherman said. We got to put the ag back into our culture. We've always been connected to our land up until somewhere around the 80s and 90s. People started migrating from the country, and my family did the same thing into the cities because they wanted something different. They were tired of their way of life. Then, after about 10 years or 2 decades, they want to get back to the country because they're tired of the city life. And that's where I come in. I want to go back to the country and do the things that I grew up doing. So that connection is lost, and that connection keeps us grounded. So it is imperative that we return to the way of our ancestors and inform the world of who we are, all the while honoring our Aboriginal titles. So that's very important. So, and I'm about to get up off the stage, but I want to say good spirits be with you. Thank you all for listening, and more importantly, thank you for inviting me here. Much appreciation and love.
No,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
Appreciate you.
Thank
Much love
you.
and respect.
Thank you both for coming and sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us today. Thank everybody for participating. It was a very informative stream. So I'm really hoping that the people could get something out of this today. Salute to everybody. Much love and respect.
Absolutely.
I've
And
got one
before
question for. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, ma'am. Sorry, my bad.
no, go for it. I want you to stay. Go for it.
I wanted to ask Chief Eagle Eye a question. To revitalize soil and land, like how would you basically give that soil a new coat, to give it a jolt? What are some of the things that you would use?
Depending on where I'm at and what I'm going to be planting is how I would treat that. So I would have to see the land, and know what kind of soil you were dealing with, and then we really can go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So what they call a cover crop is usually what revitalizes your land. And then you don't want to never just keep planting the same thing over and over in the same spot, because that'll break your land down. So you want to switch up, because when you switch up, the new crop that you're putting in that same spot actually revitalizes the land. So in that one area, say you had tomatoes that one area, next year you might want to put cucumbers there, or
okay. I lost audio again.
can you hear me, sis?
Okay, I hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, you want to rotate your crops. And, especially if you have different type of crop, you can rotate them and then that'll revitalize it naturally. But if you're going with the same product, then you're going to have to add something to it. And that's what these farmers are doing. They're adding nitrogen to it when it gets showed. That's why they're constantly testing the soil to see what they need, you know. But you want to go the most natural way. So you don't want to have to use chemicals if you don't have to. That's not something that we get into because we're not row crop farmers. We're not trying to just have a whole 1,000 acres of soybeans and make sure they come up, you know, so that we could give them to the government. We're not doing that. We're trying to go more on the healthy side. So less to me is best when it comes to being healthy. Just having a whole lot, it may be detrimental to not only your land, but even to your crop that you're trying to yield. And you want to make sure that you get the maximum out of it. See, I notice now that they're growing two rows of soybeans right next to each other at the same time now. When it used to be like one row, they put 2 rows on the same row, side by side, and then just let them, you know, fill out as much as they can because they shrink up as they get older. They shrink. So all those leaves are now gone. So everything now is all on the bean. The sun is going straight to the bean. So it just depends on what you're using and what you're going to be producing. And we can go from there, brother. We'll guide you right on through that. Don't even worry about it. If it's not me, it's gonna be my brother Sherman. We'll get you right. Or my sister, we get you right. That's what we're here for. Because we got to build our nation off, and we want to start. This call is not just for us personally to have something. It's for us to begin to have our communities and start to co-op amongst one another, so that we can trade amongst one another our product. So you always gonna have a buyer, because we know some people in New York that need you. We got some people in Georgia that need you. We got some people in California that need you. That's what it is going to evolve to what we're going to be doing. So I just encourage everybody.
Mention a Caribbean contact. Chief Eagle Eye.
Say that again.
Mention a Caribbean contact as well. South America.
You broke up a second. Okay, yeah. See, now they're monopolizing on the seed. Monsanto is monopolizing on the seed thing, to where you can't use their seed twice. So say you went and grew their crop because you had no choice but to go buy some Monsanto seed, right? You know, most crops, they produce themselves all over again, right? But what Monsanto has did, he has patented his seed. So that now if you go and try to grow that same soybean next year, he can come and check your farm and see if you were using his seeds and sue you for your farm. So we got to be aware of how we get our product, you know. So we want to start storing our own. We want to have our own seed banks. So we're not dealing with them, because when you go buy from them, you got to turn your seeds into them first. They got to inspect your seed, and then you go and plant your seed or your crop, and then they come inspect your crop as they grow. But if we got our own jurisdiction, we ain't got nobody inspecting our seeds. We ain't got nobody inspecting our crops. We doing it ourselves. And we making sure that it goes by our guidelines, that we not catching cancer, that we not getting diabetes from it. See, that's why we want to be a tribe, because we're going to claim that everything that they're giving us is causing disease to us. That's how we're going to get it. That's what it is. It is what it is. And it's actually happening to us. So it shouldn't be hard for us to switch. And it shouldn't be hard for us to be able to make that claim that we're walking away from them poisoning us. So, you know, let's do it, y'all.
Chief Handy, one last question before you go. Both you and Eagle Eye could respond to this. Could you explain to the audience, or anyone might be listening, I gather he has this recorded for a replay. Could you specify what is the difference between a co-op and a farmer's market? And what is your position on us understanding clearly what food deserts are? Because those are all communities that are considered urban, ghetto, inner city, or in municipalities.
Absolutely. A co-op is an existing, and that's the community that I grew up in, a co-op where everybody worked together and shared everything. the farming, the feeding of the horses, and all of that. That's a cooperative. Everybody working together to achieve a common goal. And farming is just basically you're doing your own thing or you're in a business doing that. Where I grew up on a co-op, we didn't sell. Everybody ate. When we killed a hog or a cow, everybody got meat. The women would work the farm. We did our canning and we grew what we wanted to grow. We picked everything. We harvest together. We shared everything. That's that commonality across the co-op. You share your costs, your expenses, your food, and everything. And it may be some business connections tied into it where they modernized it, where you are selling crops or whatever. But the main thing is that within the co-op, the families that support the businesses will also benefit from the co-op. And Chief Eagle Eye, you want to add on to the farming aspect of it because you are the actual farmer.
Yeah, so those that are just regular farming, they can start their own farmers markets. If you guys haven't seen the open air type market where people are coming, they just bring their product. That will be the farming part of the co-op. We're doing the co-op ourselves because we want to do it as an indigenous nation. But you also got to do it as a family, so that you want to be able to sell it as a business also. Right. So you want to do it either way. You want to do it both ways, but we want to do it so that we can sustain ourselves first, and then we'll start feeding everybody else. We want to have maybe Philly OG. Philly OG might have 100 acres of watermelons, and man, we gonna call Philly OG and just get his watermelons and make sure they sold. Or we might call Mama Callie up in Georgia, and they might have a whole group of people that got greens. We're gonna make sure they get sold.
Absolutely.
Because we got elderly people that are still growing, but they can't go sit in a farmer's market all day long and sell their greens and stuff. No, so those younger people need to set the farmers markets up while these older people are schooling them in the fields to be able to grow. And then we bring their product to the stores. And then we'll do that all over the United States. And then we'll eventually, the same way the Amish people are feeding them, the Aboriginal people will be feeding themselves. And then we'll be self-sustained.
That's true. So a co-op exists primarily as a member benefit rather than outside investors. Now, they're pretty flexible most of the time and it can address a wide range of needs. But they also, they're farmer-owned co-ops where they help a producer and members market and process their crops and livestock. Like I stated, everything's like a shared production and need supplies and services in the existing co-op. But like the farmers market, you make sure that your members get what they need and anything left over, you may go and sell it. But your primary goal is to take care of your members first in a co-op.
And if either both of you could correct me, because I don't want to speak out of turn, my understanding of the functionality of the High Tunnel could be an outreach program for what we consider as food deserts and get our children engaged with doing, gardening or potted plants off of a balcony inside of a apartment complex. Would y'all elaborate on that?
Food deserts, as you know, is where food doesn't exist. You don't have any great quality of markets where you can go and buy your own food. That's a desert where you rely on your convenience stores and fast foods primarily to feed you. That's a desert. We have established in several communities, Oconnoshoba, Chickasaw Nation, where we do this community farming. We go to people lots and help them set up their own area of what they want to grow, and they usually share it within their community. And once a year, we get together and have a harvest where we eat. They share some of their foods with us, and they distribute some throughout the community. And we have a festive. They cook out, and we sharing the food, and it's a great day, a long whole day event. Basically, they got one going on today in Mississippi, but it can be beneficial. And I think more people that take advantage of that are usually the elders, and not so much as the youngsters. And I think the elders has more of a benefit as to what they gain and the necessity for farming, whereas a lot of youngsters think, oh, that's too much work. I don't know if I want to do that or not. We're starting to see a turnaround in a lot of the young people wanting to get back into farming. I think that's where it has to be. That's where that paradigm shift has to occur with the younger generation so that the elders can transfer the knowledge to the younger generation. And it's a win-win for everybody. If everybody start growing in their backyard or side porch or wherever and barter, if you got some green peas, I got the tomatoes or the okra, you know, we can make a meal. So we definitely have to get back to those practices. And like I said, just a small amount of land, you can do a lot with that. Just starting, collectively, you can do a lot with it to eliminate the food deserts that do exist. And I yield.
And one of the biggest food deserts, wherever you don't have a grocery store within a couple of miles away, it's considered as a food desert. And they're all over Memphis. Most of the stores are all in Germantown. Trip that, right?
It's too far to drive.
And
yeah. I mean, too far
it's
to
too
walk.
far
Yeah.
for the people that live in
But
South Memphis. It's way too far to walk.
right.
And there's one store in South Memphis. There's one store in North Memphis. There's one store in South Haven, in Whitehaven. There's only one store. Well, there's two because there's a Kroger in there and then there's a Walmart. Okay, so there's two in Whitehaven. But those are all considered food deserts because there's only one store in their area within 20 miles. So everything around it is a food desert. So think about that in your neighborhood, because I'm gonna tell you, those political people are holding on to money that have to do with food deserts.
Absolutely.
And they're giving money away for that. If you live in a food desert, they'll help you eliminate the food desert. But you got to come and show them that you can do something that's going to do it. So if we get these co-ops set up, we can take over all the food desert areas. We can all be successful as making money together in the food deserts. I think that's a venture that we all should look into as we come in together as Aboriginal people as today. We got to look into that, y'all. Having our business together.
Right. We must work together, brother. That's the only way this is going to come to fruition, because one can't do it by themselves. And we have to unite to make this vision a reality. There's no way around that one. So it is imperative that we work together, period, bottom line. And together, many hands make light work. So if we come together and just do. And I think that we've been doing this for about 15 years, been bamboozled, tricked, and all this stuff. But I think now, thanks to Chief Alabama for handpicking people and recruiting the people of like-mindedness, we're finally getting where we need to go to see results. Because we're not playing, kind of like that coalition that came along, Not Fucking Around coalition. Do y'all remember that guy? We actually jumped on band with him, come to find out that he was an agent. Everything that sounds good always is not good. But I think that the desperation and the need drives us. So if you come along, you really have to vet people to find out what they're about and what they're doing. So we've been tricked so many times thinking this is going to take off and it's going to do something. And the only thing that's been successful is the things that we've done, because collectively the momentum never just took off. More people more concerned with what's in it for me. And when you're community building, there's no I in it at all. So you have to think collectively, what's best for everybody, not just what's best for me. That mindset does nobody any good. And I yield on that.
If things are about to wind down, Key Norfolk, let me once again thank you for the invitation. Anyone in the audience or listening to the replay, please contact him and Big Dog, Philly OG. It's a very simple process to get into the Farm Service Agency and the USDA. And soon as you do, please reach out to Coosa Nation so that we can map, as Sister has said, map where we are in the contiguous 48. And I'm sure there's somebody in Alaska, Hawaii who will get on board as well. But I thank you both for your valuable time, Chief Eagle Eye and Chief Anatea Handy. Coosa Nation is in the house.
Absolutely, we represent.
Peace and power. Salutes. And
Salute to
I
y'all. Salute.
Thank
Salute.
you.
salute to y'all. I want y'all to, feel at home, on the channel. If there's any time that we can connect, build, and grow, I think it's a must. It's definitely good energy. And like I said, you guys are humble when it comes to being ready to extend y'all hand and help. And I'm gonna give y'all this energy and return. Salute to y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Each one, reach one, teach one. We got to go back to the basics. And before I close, I just want to say all praises be to Yahya, the creator, or great spirit, and Wiki Kiyi, friends who walk with us. I'm speaking in my native tongue, which is Taino. May our united efforts be pleasing in the eyes of our great spirit and our ancestors. Kasiwi Waj, Nagar, Alumak, Wig Demiwi. Willingly, we must work together. So please join this movement as we move forward to make our nation great again. And I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about us as indigenous people. Thank you so much for allowing us to share this part of the journey with you. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you. Peace and love, family.
Well said. Well said. I like that. And
Peace and
and
love.
my last silly question is for Chief Eagle Eye, because he said he said something that I'm that's the only bit of information I know about Monsanto's. So Eagle Eye, where should we get these seeds from? Would we have to set up a organization to go get them from a natural place, or is there a company that you trust that that it's organically, this seed that we're getting is straight from Mother Nature herself?
Yes, there are some companies out there that are producing this great organic seed that we can deal with, and because all of the regular seed companies are row crop farming seed banks, so they're just gonna sell you soybeans and corn that we don't eat, because the corn that we harvesting right now, I'm not eating this. This is corn that they use for dog food, and it's a byproduct, really. They're using it for all the byproducts. They're mixing it with those soybeans, and they're telling you that it's meat. So I wouldn't eat none of this that they're producing. But what we'll do is eventually we'll have our own seed bank set up, and because we know a couple of people that have already started their own seed bank. They might not have enough for all of us at this moment, but they're building their seed banks up so that we all be able to use them. And then what we need to do also is start saving your own. Start saving your own seeds. You go buy a watermelon, start saving those seeds. You go buy a cantaloupe, save those seeds. All of the fruit that got the seeds in it, save those seeds so that you can reproduce that product.
Absolutely. Because I haven't seen a grape with seeds in it, and I don't know when.
Man.
Yeah, so it's crucial. We must save the seeds.
That's a fact.
Stop eating unit foods, foods without seeds.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Monsanto didn't just start this. He did this. He started doing this over 5 years ago. So we're behind. And Bill Gates, he's behind the shenanigans also, because he's the one buying all those greenhouses that are football field long, and he's got it covered, and he's growing food, he's selling food, and I don't know what he's selling, but I know that he is selling fake food.
Well, don't forget he's pushing insect protein. And one final thing on the heritage vaults. These seed vaults are in Norway and in Finland. Think on that for a moment. I think that they are even digging down into the permafrost where they're creating these vaults. I'm trying to remember that 60-minute story, but I certainly know Norway is out in front. I believe Finland, Sweden, or whatever other Scandinavian country, they're trying to corner the market on what is referred to as heritage seeds. And one last thing on this Monsanto thing. It's Monsanto, DuPont. If you remember Archer Daniels Midland, we haven't heard much about them lately. And Aramark is probably the biggest criminal on site of this criminal enterprise because they have control over school districts' cafeterias. They have the actual pipeline. I believe it's 75% of any office building and high rise across this nation. So we don't know who we should be identifying as these corporate agribusinesses, not just Walmart. You feel me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So when we start discussing these things, and that was T. Riggles, I guess, that asked that question, when we are not planting the young folks say, the 10 toes down, again,
Mhm.
Coosa Nation is assisting with genealogy, find your family tree, X marks the spot. All paperwork is evidence of fraud and criminal activity. Don't get it twisted. I'm not here to bash Moores or any other person that pushes UCC, commercial code, trade, business. All of American capitalism is based off the American being turned into the Negro. And the Negro is the Frankenstein monster. Go ahead, sis.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to give a shout out to Coosa Nation of North America, Principal Chief, Dr. Tate. She is a former educator, and as I stated, we did start our school. We even wrote a white paper on the right of return. We reached out to several other countries that recognize us as a nation state. So that's imperative as well. We do advocate. We have our counseling services. We provide counseling to our people. Uh, we do so much that we've done on our own without any assistance from the government or anybody else, just for us by us. So it's imperative that we support our schools. We teach our kids in nature, not the way that they do European style here in the United States. We teach them in nature, the way that they were intended to learn. We also teach them the native tongue. So we're doing some great things. And I would encourage that we put our kids in these schools so that they can learn the right way from the science and nature and to reconnect with who they are. And they're so excited about learning and participating because there's no pressure. They can just be them natural selves and they just excel at being them. And I think that that is just so wonderful when you can hear their input so brilliantly, and they actively participate, it's just a beautiful thing. And hats off to you, Chief Tate. And
You
I
know, I
know.
And
like
on Fridays is when we hold that class for the kids. So if
Mhm.
y'all get in touch with us, we'll give you the link so you can tap in,
Right.
so you can get that experience to see if you want to enroll your child in the program with Coosa Nation so that they can start learning natural. We get them right on it.
Absolutely. We get the truth, not what they dictate what we should be taught. So it's a great thing. Beautiful.
yeah, and I like what you
As
said.
a matter of fact, oh yeah, my bad. As a matter of fact, my bad, T Riggles. I'm gonna be real quick. Could I give you my email address? That way I can get you guys' information and I can post it in the description. And the people can just contact you guys from the description, from the information y'all dropped today. Salute.
Go
Absolutely.
ahead.
Yeah,
You gonna
I
put
like.
it in the chat? You gonna put it in the chat?
I'm gonna put it in the back chat, and I'm gonna put it in the regular chat too, so I can make sure I get it.
Okay.
And I'll just put y'all's tribe information on the description of this video, if y'all don't mind.
No, not at all. Absolutely.
Anytime.
I just put my
All right.
information in the chat group, so it's there. Reach out
Can
to me.
you send me mine too, sis? Because I am driving.
Look, which email is that, brother? Is that the farm NASDAQ or
No,
which
use
one?
the IG. Use IG Walk 18.
Okay, I got you.
I appreciate you.
That's
I
497-503. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
What's that number? 497-8503, brother?
497 8304.
Okay, gotcha. It's in there. All right.
May I reiterate for every American known as the Negro, not convinced that they are the Indian not taxed in the United States Constitution, all of this is blood libel. Now, these small hat Zionists like to convince you that blood libel is only particular to them. But since we are the original people, I'm not here arguing over whether you're a Hebrew Israelite, Christian, Muslim, or Catholic. What I am saying to you, the American, and there is only one, my message is direct and succinct. There is only one American. Everyone else is a native born or naturalized United States citizen. Do not let them commit identity theft. Do not let them convince you that there is such a thing as an American citizen, because it is not. They are United States citizens. The American is the person of the soil. That's what sovereign means. Each and every American is sovereign to this land. If you are displaced off of it, that's what you need to address. That's your family story. That's your genealogy. Kusa Nation will assist you. If you haven't been doing it, only you can do it. I can't tell you your story. You can't tell me mine. But all of our stories are the great displacement, not replacement, that you're hearing in the news from these white supremacists, these Christian nationalists, and the Zionists. That is to convince people that they have priority, using phrases like chosen, claiming that they're of the book. No matter what you may think in your frame of mind, the facts are as they are, and the truth is only here with us. I'll step down on my soapbox by stating this one thing. Any problem you have, it's your problem because you let someone else bring it to you. Contact Kusa Nation and help yourself. You're not helping me. Help yourself. And thank you again, Chief Anatea Handy, Chief Eagle Eye, and Key Norfolk, and Big Dog Philly OG. Keep the faith.
Absolutely. Truth seekers for sure. Peace and love, family.
Thank you, my
Amen.
brother. Peace and love, my brothers.
Salutes. Peace and power, family. Much love, y'all.
Yeah, I do
And
know.
I'll
No, go ahead, Keith.
oh yeah, go ahead, brother. You got it. No, I was just gonna say I'm gonna allow everybody the time to close out. Take your time to close out. Any questions that was wanting to be asked or statements that was need to be made, feel free to do so now. Salutes to everybody, man. Much love and respect. Go ahead, y'all got it.
No, I love what everyone is doing here, and brother 832, you're absolutely right. We will help ourselves, and at the same time, all I really do know is what the sister said earlier. Man, I can't do this by myself. I don't even want to do this by myself. It's better that we all join as one unit, a team, so we won't all stress all out at one point. You understand? So I know teamwork, right, is the famous line, the dream work. And I fall back on that.
And Brother Norfolk, thank you again, for giving me this time to share this information on the internet, so that the more of us can be awakened to be able to start coming together to let everybody know that the Aboriginals are doing something. We're not just we're solving problems. We're not claiming to be scholars. We're actually solving problems with the knowledge that we have. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for participating today and giving your insight so that we can become independent people once again. As I digress, peace and love, family.
Salute, family. And I was gonna say, man, we can start to tap in more often, man, especially if we could just jump in for like an hour or two, drop some gems on farming experiences, drop some gems on, any new substantial information any one of us may have that we can share together, I'm definitely down for that. So you got my contacts, good brother. Salutes to y'all. Anybody who want to, I know OG Philly. I haven't heard you say nothing in a minute. You wanna interject with anything, big dog?
Nah, I'm good, brother. Much love, much respect to everybody. I love what we doing. Let's keep doing it. Appreciate all of y'all.
Salute, salute, much love and respect. This was a great bill, great information. I did want us to just come in, give the information, and I did want to cut the stream, and leave it in good standing. And we will be back. We will come back, and just have an open panel. Salutes to everybody. Much love and respect. Make sure y'all do tap in with us. We will be back. All the new first time people to the platform, welcome. And please feel free to come back, hit the link, type in the chat. Salutes to everybody. I appreciate the love. Definitely good energy and vibes. Shout out to Coosa Nation. Shout out to my brother Alabama. Shout out to the Chiefs. Shout out to Big Dog Philly OG. Shout out to my brother T Riggles. Shout out to the chat, my moderators. Salutes to everybody, man. Much love and respect. Hey, man, this is the Nation One Love podcast show. I'm your host, Key Norfolk, man. And till next time,